All right, good morning and welcome. We got a great Monday. Well, let's go ahead and get going on our backs. Okay, so let's go feet together, knees wide, roll it on down. And we'll close down those eyes, rest one hand on the stomach, one hand rests on the chest. Start to breathe in and out through the nose. Work on bringing that low back a little bit closer to the ground. It might already be flat. If it is, great. Maybe there's a big old arch in that back. Just think a little more core activation if we're trying to scoop the pelvis of the tailbone up. Try to spine, pull that low back down, and that rib cage pulls down. And then remember to breathe just in and out through the nose, expanding through that rib cage. Taking that big breath in. And exhaling it out just nice and slow. So on that exhale, it's a little bit easier to get that pelvic tilt, to get that low back down. So really focus on that with that exhale. It'll be a little bit more core engagement. A couple more breaths, just coming to this space, just releasing any stress, any tension. And just let yourself be here in this quiet space for just the next few moments. And then bring those knees together. Hug them into the chest. Just give it a little rock from side to side. Let's stretch out those outer hips. So crossing that right ankle over that left thigh. You can grab onto the hamstring, especially if those hips are feeling a little bit tighter this morning. Keep that low back nice and flat. So almost like we're walking the shoulder blades together, trying to lift that chest up. If the spine lifts, great. It's not a big deal. Okay, we want that down here, this tailbone to be grounded, the shoulder blades to be grounded, but that spine can lift. And maybe you can bring the hands to the shins. Another breath or two. Let's release the right or the left foot down. Keep that right ankle over, grabbing onto this 90-degree bend that the foot and the shin are making. And then we'll drop the knees over to that left side. So that right foot plants down. Okay, now right shoulder stays down. And from here, we can kind of leverage. So pulling on that right ankle, pressing that knee up towards the ceiling. So a little bit more stretch through that outer hip, maybe even into that oblique a little bit more. And if this is a lot on your knee, you can always just stay back here in this pigeon. That's fine too. It's being aware of the body, how it feels, keeping that core tight. Let's bring that knee back up and then drop both knees over to that right side. Left shoulder stays down now. You can keep that core tight. Bring that knee back up. Let's switch sides. Cross that left ankle over. Grabbing onto that hamstring or the shin. And tailbone down, chest is lifting. Spine is lifting. And let's lower that foot down, grab on, right hand reaches for that crease of that left ankle, drop that foot down to that right side. So grab onto the ankle and pull towards you as that knee presses away from you. And then bring that leg back up, twisting, so dropping the knees over to the left side. Let's bring that leg back up, uncross it, rocking forward and back up to that seat. Sit in a cross-legged position, inhaling those arms reach up overhead. Let's twist it over to your right side. So sit tall on that inhale. Exhale, look over that shoulder, find a little bit more twist. Now we're gonna keep that left hand right where it's at. Right arm reaches up and over. Big side stretch, gauging up underneath that arm. Big reach through the right fingertips and lengthening out through that spine. So almost like you're pushing that chest forward and up a little bit more. Inhale, bring both arms up, twist it over to that other side. Tall on that inhale, exhale, twist. I'm gonna keep that right hand where it's at. Left arm reaches up, reach up tall first, and then find that side bend. And inhale, bring it back up. Let's go ahead and lower those hands down. We'll come into a tabletop, hands and knees. Inhale, drop that belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round. And lift and round. One more time, lift and round. Bring it to neutral. Go and step those feet back to our plank. One more breath. And hips up to the sky. Downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Any movement you need, pedaling those feet, swaying those hips. Or if you just want stillness, that's fine too. Really gripping those fingertips, pressing the hips up, pressing the heels down, slight flexion of those quads. And inhale on the toes. And those knees, step those feet, top of the mat. Half lift, inhale. So you might have to bring those knees up a little, or bring the hands up a little bit higher, maybe up to those knees to really flatten out that back if those hamstrings are a little tight. And slowly make your way down, keeping that back as flat as you can. And those hamstrings release. And exhale, fold. Just let that head hang heavy. And bend into those knees, flatten out that back, rise up to standing, reaching those arms up. Exhale, side bend over to that right side. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale it over to that left side. Inhale, reach it back up, flat back as we fold. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, plant those hands, step those feet back to our plank, shifting that weight forward as we lower all the way down to the stomach. Point the toes, roll the shoulders down and back, lifting that chest cobra. Or if you're ready, upward facing dog. And exhaling those hips up and back, down dog. One more breath. And inhale on the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet, top of the mat. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. So exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale it back up to the left. Inhale it up. Nice flat back as we fold. Half lift, inhale. Maybe slide those hands down a little bit lower with that flat back. And exhale, plant those hands. Step the feet back to plank. Lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down dog. And then inhale on the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet, top of the mat. Half lift. Exhale, fold. Rise on up. Side bend to the right. Inhale it up. To the left. Inhale it up. Flat back, fold. Lengthen a little more. With the flat back, slide down an inch or so. And plant the hands. Step it back to plank. Vinyasa. Exhale, down dog. Let's bring those feet together. Inhaling that right leg up. Curl that knee to the nose. Step that foot through. Back heel lowers. Inhale, reach those arms up. Let's pull those arms down. Interlace the fingers, open that chest. And exhale, fold. So maybe you just start by hovering. Maybe that rib cage comes to the inner thigh. Maybe that shoulder comes all the way down to that knee. Pulling that right hip back. Pulling the left toes forward. And inhale, release. Rise back up. Hands down to the mat. Step back to plank. Vinyasa. Exhale, down dog. Feet together. Inhale, that left leg lifts. Curl that knee in. Step that foot through. Back heel down. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Squaring off the hips. Bend into that front knee. Relax those shoulders. Interlace those fingers behind the back. Big opening through that chest. Exhale, fold. So notice that that left hip sways out to the side. Pulling that hip back so we want spine parallel to that imaginary line right down the middle of your mat. And release the hands. Come back up. Exhale those hands down. Step back to our plank. Vinyasa. Exhale, down dog. Now come on to the toes. Bend those knees. Let's step those feet behind the hands, going into that squat. So toes out, heels in. Sink it down. Is lower. Maybe as high as you need to today. Really active, drive the knees out. Maybe those hips find that they can drop down a little bit lower with those knees out of the way. Sometimes a little bit wider stance helps too, but don't go so wide that makes it a little bit too hard to press those knees out. You want the knees and the toes facing that same direction, so kind of angled out. One more breath. And straighten those legs as we fold. Hang here for a bit, just let it sway from side to side. Let's bend into those knees, flat back, rise up to standing, reach up tall. Again, let's do that side bend over to the right. Inhale it back up to the left. Inhale, reach it up, flat back fold. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, plant those hands, step those feet back to plank. Vinyasa. Exhale, down dog. Feet together, inhale, that right leg lifts. Curl that knee to the nose, step that foot through. Back heel lowers down. Inhale, rise up. Arms down. Open that chest on that inhale and exhale, fold. Inhale, release. Rise back up. So we're going to straighten that front leg. Adding to this, both hip bones are squared to the front of the mat. Nice flat back as we fold. So feeling that big stretch to that back hamstring. The more we press into that back heel, the more we feel it in the left calf. Hands are sliding down. Maybe make your way all the way down towards the ground. And we don't want to round our spine to get there. We want to keep it nice and flat. And one more breath. Then inhale, bend into that front knee. Rise back up, warrior one. Hands down to the mat. Step it back to plank. Moving through your vinyasa. Exhale, down dog. Feet together, inhale, that left leg lifts. Curl that into the nose, step that foot through. Back heel lowers down, inhale, rise up. Warrior one. Square the hips. Arms down, interlace the fingers, open it up, and exhale, fold. Inhale, release those hands, rise back up, straighten that front leg, square those hips off, fold. You can lower those hands down. One more breath. And rebend into that front knee. Reach those arms up and hands down. Step it back to plank. Vinyasa. And exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhale on the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet, top of the mat. Heels in, toes out. Squat down, hold it here, couple breaths. Good, knees out, actively pressing those toes, balls of the feet into the mat and pressing away. 3, 2, and 1. Straighten those legs as we fold. Just give a little sway from side to side. Maybe even grabbing opposite elbows, let that head hang really, really heavy. And now let's pull those hands down. Step it back to our plank vinyasa. Exhale, down dog. Let's go into our pigeon. So right knee, right wrist, foot slides across, left leg comes back. Lower onto the forearms. And rest the head down onto those fists or onto your hands, even the mat. Pulling that right shin back, left knee's pulling forward. Just a few more breaths. And come back onto those hands. Step it back to that down dog. Bring that left knee to that left wrist. Foot comes across. Right leg slides back. And lower onto those forearms. Rest the head down. So a little more active. Right shin back. Your right or left shin back. There we go. Right knee is pulling forward. And then come back onto the hands. Send it back, down dog. Pause it for another breath or two. Let's lower onto those knees. Come into a seat. Just close down those eyes for a couple breaths. Closing out this practice. Well, hopefully you found a little more calm during the practice, but if not, here's your chance. Just closing down those eyes, relaxing the shoulders, sitting up nice and tall. Big breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Blinking those eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. And I will see you guys tomorrow.